We have arrived at the Yas Marina circuit on the Yas Island in the United Arab Emirates for the running of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the penultimate race of the season, where the Drivers' Championship could be decided this week. Coming into this week, along with the championship being a talking point, two teams have been making the headlines this week. The first team news of the day concerns ALPHATAURI, as after so much speculation, they have announced that German driver David CUPOK will remain with the team for another season. David has had an amazing season, with 2020 being a much better season compared to the disaster that was 2019. He currently lies 10th in the Drivers' Championship, 2 points behind McLaren's Joseph Willows, and his team ALPHATAURI lies 6th in the Constructors, 12 points ahead of fellow Italian team Ferrari. David's highest point this season obviously came at Malaysia, where after many failed attempts he finally took his first ever podium finish with 2nd place, despite the fact that he started the race from the very back row of the grid due to being caught out in mixed conditions. David will be happy to know that he will still be with ALPHATAURI next season, and he'll be hoping the team makes a leap forward in the first season of the fantasy era. He'll partner alongside 2009 World Champion Miklos Gal, who was announced back at Italy to be leaving Red Bull at the end of the season to return to ALPHATAURI, with many people branding the move as bizarre. This does mean that Chris Chatfield, after only one season, will be leaving the team at the end of the season. However, luckily for him, another team has come to his rescue, and he will be on the grid in 2021. That team being the prancing horse Ferrari, as he has been confirmed to be the driver that will be replacing Roberto Gamba next season. Chris has had a brilliant 2020, despite parts of the season being shaky for him. He currently lies 14th in the Drivers' Championship, tied ironically with Roberto Gamba, and as mentioned earlier, his current team ALPHATAURI lies 6th in the Constructors, 12 points ahead of his future employers Ferrari. Chris's highest point this season came at Kota, where he came narrowly close to taking his first ever podium, only for him to be overtaken with a few laps to go by the driver who will be replacing him at ALPHATAURI, Miklos Gal. Chris will be relieved to know that he will still be in the top class in 2021, and he'll be hoping the team makes a big turnaround in the fantasy area so they are once again fighting for wins and the World Championship. As mentioned, he will replace Roberto Gamba, who shockingly announced his retirement from the OC as a whole back at the Malaysian Grand Prix, meaning in a way Roberto essentially gave Chris a lifeline, given that Roberto was originally meant to be retained by the team. Chris will partner alongside Jake Galloway, who was confirmed back at Hungary to be leaving Renault to join the prancing horse. It will be fascinating to see whether Ferrari will return to their former glory in 2021, or whether they will have to enjoy another season of them fighting in the midfield, or even worse. And that is it for the penultimate episode of the GP4OC News Series 8. Just 4 more seats are left to be announced now, which consist of the remaining seat at Haas and the 3 talked about ones, which are the remaining seat at Alfa Romeo, the remaining seat at the rebranded Aston Martin, and the remaining seat at Renault. The final team news of the season will break as per usual at the Brazilian Grand Prix next week. Who will get the final 4 seats, which test drivers will be announced early, and what will be the liveries and driver lineup for the renamed Formula 2 season? Tune in to the final practice session of the season next Tuesday at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in Interlagos, Sao Paulo.